Alright YouTube, if you were patient enough to stick with my description of this system, hopefully you'll get to see it for real right now. At this point it kind of devolves into every other YouTube video, but hopefully with the description before you'll understand it a little bit better. Starting I guess on the upper left right here, we've got, that's my RO unit right there, and then here we've got the two reservoir tanks. This one is the RO tank, and this is the raw water tank. And then moving on down here, this is the mixing tank, and then farther down below, this is the reservoir. So kind of like as we described before, the RO unit, and I'll kill the light here so you guys can actually see it. You'll notice on here, this is a Dolphin, the AquaFX Dolphin unit. And as I get a little bit closer, here we have a pressure gauge, and you can see that this pressure gauge is 0. What this means is with the check valve operating, the automatic shutoff valve, which is essentially a solenoid, is holding pressure, which shuts down pressure to the membrane unit, and therefore the pressure is 0. And what's kind of cool about this, and I discovered this early on, is that when this pressure gauge reads 0, that essentially means that my RO tank is full. And since my raw water tank fills faster than my RO tank, this gauge is right here. I can do a quick glance that my tanks are full when that gauge is 0. If you do not have a check valve in there, like I said, the pressure will back up into the RO membrane and it'll be discharged, and this needle will bounce all over the place. So you know, there it is, the quick and dirty. I've got two lines coming out there. One is actually the waste line, and that's the clear line, and the blue is the product line. And that blue product line snakes around the back. I actually convert it to a hose, and that hose goes through into a coupling, and then up inside the tank you can see I have the automatic, the float valve, and then the top of the bell siphon. Those two bolts that I have through there are actually for my trigger system, which is in the process of being built. And obviously the raw tank, it's exactly the same, but the water looks like you know, something that looks like piss, I'll be honest with you. And that's just that's raw water coming out of the well. This pipe right here, the stand pipe, this runs on down into the mixing reservoir. Down in the mixing reservoir, there it is, ready for action. My fountain pump, which will prime the bell siphons when called on to do so. Coming down a little bit farther here, this connection of the bulkhead is we've got a small line that runs on down. And I told you guys about this little piece right here. This is my throttling valve, and then it comes down even lower, and that right there is the rotometer, so you guys can get a good sense of what it looks like. Now currently that tank is not filled up, so the rotometer is not operating, but the supply comes in the bottom, and the outlet comes out the top. And because the mixing tank is higher than the sump tank, that operates on a siphon, so that'll work just fine. So I know that my mixing tanks are full, ready to rock and roll, and let me just fire this sucker up and I'll show you guys how it works. Simply take this and I'll plug in my fountain pump. The fountain pump turns on, fills up top, and then before you know it, you'll see the bell siphons. The one on the right starts, the one on the left starts. There they go. I can turn that pump off, and boom, they're operating. Now the raw water tank's on the right, so that'll stop first because it's drawn down much less amount. So there we go. The raw water is gone, and the RO water, it's still filling. It's still going like a champ. And there we go. The raw water up in the batching reservoir has reached the bottom of the bell. The siphon is cut off, and now I have a full tank full of pre-mixed water ready to rock and roll. Now this drip system, I've got to adjust it because I had it shut off and turned on to purge some air, but that will eventually dump its way into the sump tank. And in the sump tank we've got all sorts of cool gear like a heater. I actually stole one of my hang on the back filters out the back to do a little bit of supplemental filtration. That tube in the back there is the overflow tube. So when this thing is actually gets to the point of filling up, that's where the drip will discharge to. This vertical pipe coming down, that is running to the brushless DC pump, the BLDC pump, and we'll have fun rocking and rolling with that. And then the 1.5" tube, that is the return from my tank. So there's the breakdown of the tank and the fill system. It was a lot of fun to make, very satisfying now that it's done, and it's pretty much all I've got. So I hope that you've enjoyed the video. I hope it was educational. This is very doable, and it was a lot of fun just to revel in the act of learning how to do this and exploring and tinkering with it. So if you've got any questions or comments, just go ahead and post them.